Hi friends, East Village here, and today we're going to talk about Minecraft and its progression. Progression is the order in which things can be obtained. For instance, to get a wooden pickaxe, you need a crafting table, some sticks, and some planks. The thing is, I think Minecraft progression is kind of boring, at least the early game. In the end, I'm going to show you a data pack that makes a few changes to Minecraft, but these few changes will make a huge impact on how Minecraft's progression will feel. This video will be very subjective, and that's just because I am an experienced player, so I don't know how the new player experience is nowadays. I started back in alpha and so much has changed since. However, the things I'm going to discuss is not only about difficulty, it's about the linearity of the game, and that affects everyone. The reason I'm making this video in the first place is because I've been playing some Valheim lately, and I love Valheim's progression system. It actually feels like a survival game first of all, but also every tier matters. The wooden tier, the stone tier, the bronze tier, all of them is very different, and you are in each of those tiers for a long time. In fact, there's a mini boss between all of the tiers, and there's a new biome which is full of new dangers that you have to adapt to and learn, and you have to go explore it to find out where the next boss is. So it's very different from Minecraft. But it has once again made me think of Minecraft's progression. I have previously been thinking about how there's certain aspects of it that I don't think is amazing. It's not that it's terrible, it's just not amazing. And those are the things I want to discuss today. Compared to Valheim, Minecraft is a sandbox game, and it's a very great game, don't get me wrong. It's not like I want to change Minecraft completely. In fact, the changes in the data pack that I'm going to show you later are very small and close to the vanilla experience. It just forces the player to interact with some systems that normally only comes later in the game, or at least is normally only required later in the game. Similarly to a lot of other survival games, the progression is mostly affected by the tier of your tools. It is very common that whenever you unlock a new tool, that tool will unlock a new part of the game. For instance, in Minecraft, when you get the diamond pickaxe, you can now break obsidian, which means you can build a portal and go to the Nether. So from now on, we will mostly be focusing on the tool tiers in Minecraft. To show you the progression, I'm going to draw it as a graph. So here you see a graph that shows in which order you need to get items. So right off the bat, you can get wood. There's no prerequisite for that. But with your wood, you can make planks, and planks can be made into sticks and crafting tables. And when you have that, you can then make your wooden pickaxe. So it's pretty easy to understand. But this crafting table, when we introduce more items, it'll be everywhere. So we're going to make it easy to ourselves, and then we'll introduce colors. So the crafting table allows us to do advanced crafting, the 3x3 crafting. And then when I color something with the same cyan color here, that means it's part of that category and you need the crafting ability before you can make it. Additionally, I'm going to omit all the planks and sticks and all that stuff because wood is a basic resource and it's going to be used everywhere. So just to declutter the diagrams, we're going to omit many of these wood related items. Now let's see how Minecraft progression look like when we draw it like this. So yeah, it's a bit bigger graph. This is of course not all items. I'm only focusing on the main tool tiers, so we're just focusing on pickaxes actually. You can see the wooden pickaxe, stone pickaxe, iron pickaxe, diamond pickaxe, and we also have netherite. And these are the ones we will be focusing on because they sort of represent the tier levels in Minecraft. There's also more colors now, and that is the other systems in Minecraft. So we have exploration and the caving, and they're sort of the same thing, just above ground and below ground. Then there's the breeding system, or just in general animal handling. Of course, to breed an animal you also need the correct type of food, but I'm not going to show that. Then there's fighting, or killing hostile mobs. And lastly there's, well no, not lastly, but there's also building. There's other things down here, but they require some other stuff before they are unlocked. For instance, going to the Nether, for that you require a Nether portal and all this other stuff above it. Farming is actually unlocked, you can do it immediately, but getting a bucket of water will make it easier, at least to you can make your farm wherever you want. And smelting, for smelting you need a furnace. So those are the main systems in Minecraft that encapsulate everything that Minecraft is about. And with that out of the way, now let's talk about this whole graph, the big thing in the middle. So when you have some wood, you can of course make your crafting table and craft. That's what we saw before. Then you can make a wooden pickaxe, which allows you to get stone. And you can also get coal, and combined this allows you to unlock the smelting. So now we can both craft and smelt. Then we also make a stone pickaxe and go deeper into a cave to find iron. To actually use the iron, we're going to use the smelting for the first time. And now we can get our water bucket, but we actually don't really need it yet. We can just make our iron pickaxe, and if we then go even deeper in our cave, we can find diamonds and make a diamond pickaxe. And now things get a bit more crazy. So there's actually two directions we can go. We can either go for an enchanting table, or we can go for netherite gear. Let's discuss the enchanting table first. So to get an enchanting table you need the obsidian and a diamond. Oh, I'm actually missing an arrow here. Ignore that, because the interesting stuff is this whole branch over here. To make an enchanting table you will need a book, and for a book you need paper and leather. Paper requires sugarcane, and you just need 3 if you want a single book. But if you want to upgrade your enchanting table and get higher levels, then you probably want to make a sugarcane farm. And the same thing kind of applies over here with the leather and the cows. If you just want a single book, sure, you just need to find 1 cow and kill it. But if you're going to fully upgrade your enchanting table, you might want to make a cow farm, which means you will need to breed the cows, which means you'll probably need a wheat farm as well. So just in this branch we're now interacting with some new systems we haven't done before. Both farming of sugarcane, farming of wheat, and farming of cows. If we instead look at netherite, well, to get netherite we of course need to go to the nether, so we need to gather some obsidian and then build our nether portal, which is the first structure we have been required to build so far. And then we can go to the nether. Then we need to find the nether, the ancient debris. This can be pretty hard. It'll take some time, sure. Once you got that, you can combine it with some gold, which you could all get already here as soon as you got iron, and then you got your netherite. So again, here we also introduce a new system, which is the ancient debris, and actually also the building. This is the first time we're required to build something. So in this graph it's actually immediately clear what the problem is. There's a lot of exciting stuff once you get down here in the end game, before the diamond, or after the diamond pickaxe. But before the diamond pickaxe, it's actually pretty linear. Like, yeah, there's only one real dependency between each step from wooden to diamonds here. Sure, there's also wood, and indirectly there's food, and there's fighting, because it is in a cave after all. But technically you can get through Minecraft without, or you can get at least a diamond without any food and without any fighting. But it's boring in more than one way than just being linear. It's also boring in the number of systems that we interact with. Sure, you have to find some wood, but that's pretty trivial. After that, you have to do some crafting, then some caving, then some more crafting, more caving. Then you need to smelt, but the prerequisite for that is also just crafting and caving. Then more crafting, then more caving, then more crafting. It's pretty much the same. Sure, there might be some fighting, there might be some food you need to think about. But it's really only these 2 or 3 systems we use. And all of this, it even happens in the same place. This is in a cave, this is in the same cave. Even coal is right next to iron. You might need to get a good cave to get diamonds, but it's still in a cave. So it's a very samey experience all the way through. It's only after diamond that it actually gets interesting, and suddenly you have to think about going to the Nether, or you have to make some farms of different types to get enchanting. So I hope I convinced you here that the early game of Minecraft isn't that interesting. Like, just look at the wooden tier. How long are you actually in the wooden tier? So if you ask me, what Minecraft is missing is some reason to do more than just go into a cave in the early game. We want new players to interact with other systems, not just because they want food to survive, and not only because monsters spawn at night. No, we want them to be a requirement. We want to force them to do some more exciting stuff. Not only will that make it interesting for new players, but especially the average player that knows the basics. It'll be much more interesting for them. And this is where my datapack comes in, because my datapack makes a few changes, but they will have a big impact on this structure. The first thing it does is we're simply getting rid of the stone pickaxe. Out with it, you can't craft it anymore. You can still craft the other stone tools, but not the stone pickaxe. And yeah, just as a side note, isn't it weird that stone pickaxes can mine stone in the first place? So we replace it with a bone pickaxe, and bone pickaxes are made from bone blocks. But other than that, the bone pickaxe can do the same things as a stone pickaxe. It can mine iron ore, it can mine stone, and everything below that tier. Now let's see how that changes this graph. Okay, so we still have our systems up here that are available immediately, but the rest of the graph has kind of been cut in two. So there's no direct dependencies between these two. Over here we have the early game with the wooden stuff. After that you need to get a bone pickaxe. And there's multiple ways to get a bone pickaxe, as you can see, because you need bone block crafted from bone meal. One way to get bone meal is to kill skeletons for their bone. Another way to do it is to do composting, and then use your leftover from a farm, or just anything from a farm, to create the bone meal, and you can then make your bone pickaxe. So there's multiple ways to get to the bone pickaxe stage, but all of them require a new system to interact with. Either you fight or you make a farm. And this is much earlier than you had to do any of that before. Actually, fighting wasn't even required. Now there's a really good reason to do it. And skeletons can be pretty hard, so you might want to be careful about it. If it's too hard for you, then there's always the composter way to do it. And actually there is a third way, because bones can also be found in some chests in the game, which means exploration is also one way to get through this step. Just with this bone pickaxe that requires bone, we actually introduced a lot more decision making and a lot more systems into the game. And this is the first change that my datapack does. The second change in the datapack is between iron and diamond. Currently the only thing that's between an iron pickaxe and a diamond pickaxe is that you need to find a deep cave. When using my datapack, you have to go to the Nether. It looks like this. Diamond ore will no longer drop diamond, it will drop rough diamond. And to make rough diamond into diamonds, you need magma cream. And yes, magma cream requires you to go to the Nether, because either you have to kill a magma cube, or you have to kill blazes and slimes and then combine those two into a magma cream. But in any case, you have to go to the Nether. But wait, you might think, how do I get to the Nether without diamond? Yeah, that's a third but smaller change in the data pack. Obsidian will be more common in the chests, especially in the chests next to ruined portals. This makes it much more likely that a player will be able to finish a ruined portal, or they might even get enough that they can build their own portal. They don't even need the diamonds. Once 1.17 drops, I will even change it such that the iron pickaxe can mine obsidian. Of course, it's going to take some time to mine it, but it makes it a bit more easy. However, you must enter the Nether only with iron gear, so that's a bit more of a challenge here. You have to be a bit more careful maybe. But that makes it into a dangerous adventure that now requires, again, more fighting probably, but also the Nether exploration. It's shown here, the arrow, that you can get the obsidian, and then you have to go to the Nether. That's what you're in the Nether, you have to find some source of magma cream, and with that you can finally get your diamonds, and you can get to the late game with netherite scrap or enchanting table. So basically I am introducing the Nether aspect of the game one tier earlier than it is normal. Another reason to introduce all this fighting is that armor is now more encouraged to make, especially the leather armor in the early game. When was the last time you made leather armor? That's right, you didn't, because you could pretty much immediately replace it with iron armor anyway. It might actually be harder to get leather armor. Think about all the leather you had to gather. That's hard. You could just go into the nearest cave and get iron instead. With these changes I break the linearity of the game, and I force the player to do more than just caving and crafting. Now they have to fight, and there's a really good reason to make the farm early. Which makes a lot more sense, because you are going to need this farm anyway for the wheat and cows later. The cows can also be used to make leather armor, which again is an advantage when you're fighting the skeletons. So there's a lot more cohesion this way. The only thing that's a bit weird with these changes is that magma cream is used to polish diamonds. It's mostly a thematic issue, but I don't find that it's a big issue. The reason I've chosen to do it this way is that it's very easy to do in the data pack, and it hits all of the right spots that I wanted to. It makes the Nether a requirement, and it makes fighting a requirement, but there's still multiple ways to do it in the Nether. It also introduces a new kind of farm for experienced players, a magma cream farm, which can be made with the treasure bastion. Alternatively, you use blazes and slimes, so there is something for the technical players as well. This is definitely not the only way to fix Minecraft, but this is my attempt to do something about the linearity of the early game. Now I hope you go try out the data pack and give me some feedback. What do you think? Do you agree with the changes I made? Do you think in general that there's something wrong with Minecraft progression? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your ideas as well. And that's it for this time. It was mostly a ramble. I hope you didn't fall asleep too much. See you next time.